I thought the easiest way to show you how to use the WordPress post editor would be to walk you through a screen recording of WordPress, and then I could upload it and add some documentation to this. So if you're looking at your website and you're logged in, we're going to go to the back end by clicking the top left. Once you're in the back end of your WordPress website, we're going to navigate to posts. Now you also have pages which aren't blog posts, right? So these are going to be your sales pages, Ohio Appeals Lawyer, your about page, your contact page, your success stories, each one of your services that you offer in the service section. The posts are going to be the blogs which support the main pages of the website. So both of them use the WordPress editor to actually edit the posts. So if you do click, edit on the post or page, so we'll actually duplicate this tab real quick, just so I could show you. But if we navigate to pages, which are going to be the static content on your website, your about page, your home page, contact, each one of your services that you offer, and your success stories. Now, this page content doesn't change as much as blog posts. Blog post content isn't as static as page content, and that's why we use the pages versus the posts, because one's going to live in the blog and one's going to live, on probably like a header navigation link and or one of the main areas of your website. So this is actually the page editor for a page. This is your about page. And if I navigate over here, this is the page editor for the blog post. They're the exact same page editor. There's no difference between the two, and all the functionality is the exact same. Now, if you do just see anything like this on the website, you'll want to keep that as HTML, and then you could hit preview, and that'll give you what it looks like. I'm slowly updating these at the moment, so ideally we would just delete this, and then we would come down here, we'd hit /. You could also, if you don't want to do it that way, just go over here to the plus. However, if you do hit /, which is where the question mark is on the keyboard, it'll bring up the quick editor. We just want to do a heading. That was a H1 heading that we removed, and we're just going to hit about. Now, the reason why there's two abouts in your post editor right here and here is if you go over here to your page, I do believe, there you go, we're hiding the title. So if we actually uncheck that, hit save just to see what happens, hit this open this in a new tab, you could see that right here is the second about, this is the first about, excuse me, and based on where the image is at on the page, and where the first about is actually doesn't fit well with the theme. So if we go back to the page editor, re-click hide title, you'll see there's no actual title there, just the image and then the about down here. So going back to this, that's how you would update the HTML block that had an error with it. It was actually replacing it with a heading, since that's all it was. However, going back to using the post editor, you wanted to primarily know how to use the internal and external links, I believe, how to add an image, how to add a heading, a paragraph, anything like that. So if you're anywhere in the document, no matter where you click, as you can see here, it brings up this little post editor, which is just your tools. And so if we're going to a new paragraph here, again, you could either hit the / like that. You could hit the plus up here in the corner, which will bring up this little editor sidebar. Or you could hit the plus over here, which will bring up the quick editor. Now, when you're actually adding a headline, all you would do is / and or the 2 plus icons, click the heading. Now you could change the heading to the one that you would actually want to use. Now the best practice is that H3s always follow H2s, H4s always follow H3s, H5s always follow H4s. So if you're using an H2 here, let's just say heading example. Let's say this was our intro text. You just start typing to get the paragraph. You hit enter, that brings up a new block. Within the new block, let's say we want to go heading again. Now we can do H2 followed by an H2, but that's usually primary topics or H2 headings. Subtopics of the primary topic would be H3s. So if this was Ohio appeals lawyer, and then this would be like what is Ohio appeal, what are Ohio appeals. You'd have some text, right? And then maybe you have a heading for an H4 followed by the H3, which then would be like types of cases considered for Ohio appeals. And so then that would be a subtopic of the subtopic Ohio appeals. What are Ohio appeals for an Ohio appeals lawyer? So you would want to follow that structure, ideally for best practices when creating any new post or editing a post. Now, if we wanted to save our edits in this post that we just made, we would just hit save in the top right corner, as you can see here. Now, anytime that you want to preview your changes, you just hit this arrow right here. That's going to bring up a new tab that goes to the actual live post. We'll just scroll down, and actually, if you don't see anything here at the bottom, because if I navigate back to that tab, you could see there is Ohio appeals lawyer that we just added and the intro text. That basically means that the website cache hasn't been cleared yet. So in order to speed up the page, we do website caching, and website caching is basically a form of I believe just storing a copy of this page on the server so it loads faster. So we'll just go up here to the GoDaddy, don't click anything, just highlight over it, and then we're going to go down to flush cache. Now if we scroll down, actually don't see that, so let's hit save again just in case. Reload, and now you can see it's here. So either it didn't save or it was the fact that we need to flush the cache. So either one of those ways will usually make this appear. Now if we go back to the post and we want to update this so this doesn't appear, we're just going to highlight over it, which is you just click and then hold shift, click up here. That's going to highlight everything within the range that you actually just clicked, and we're just going to hit the delete button and hit the delete button again, and that'll bring us back up to there. Hit save, and if we refresh, it shouldn't be there anymore. As you can see, there's nothing down there. Now, this is for how to use the block editor, which is going to be anything in this main content area of your website. However, if we look at your website, there are areas that are outside that range, like the Let's Work Together with the free consultation button. This is actually considered a part of your theme. So if you were to actually edit that, or the footer, or you wanted to edit these links down here, usually that's all done through the customization up here. So the static parts of your website that don't change very frequently, and you can consider them parts of your website template, are usually only edited through the WordPress customizer area. And so in order to do that, as long as you're logged in, what you can do is navigate to anywhere that you would want to look at, that post template area, and then just hit the customize button. And then that's going to bring up the customizer. Now within the customizer, there's multiple things we can edit. Anything from the menu up top to the main colors of the website, menus, which anytime you're in the menu area, you just hit view all locations. It'll show you where those two menus are. So it looks like there's only two menus on your theme, which is your website, which is the header menu and the footer menu. And you would just go ahead and edit that, and then you could add a new link. So that's how you would edit these parts, which they're considered widgets. So you would go into the widget area. You can see this is the above footer widget, which is right here. And then there's the footer. So either one that you hit, you could see if you want to change this text, you would just highlight it and then change it. So obviously we don't want to keep that, so we'll just hit back and exit out of this. But that's the difference between the two parts. Now going back to the WordPress block editor, if you wanted to add a link to an existing block, so the briefcase is a legal blog that you guys, or that you own, right? So we're going to search Google for that real quick. And we'll just add right here, Russ Fencing. And you can see the briefcase is right here. Which it looks like your other website is having an error, so we're not going to link to that, so that would be a bad example. But like, let's say you wanted a link to this specific award, so we'll just highlight that, right click, search with Google. So you could see oh, there you are, right there. So award winners, and then 2019 actually. So maybe we'll have to update that. I did believe that said 2019 right there. So let's say we wanted to link to this exact page. We would just go to the URL bar. We'll hit Command C if we want to do the shortcut, or we would right click and then hit copy. Now we can go back to the page, and then you could either do Command V, which will automatically paste the link on the text highlighted. To undo that, you would hit Command Z. Now if you didn't actually want to use the shortcut and you just want to insert the link normally, best practices is to never actually link the punctuation of anything. So we would just go one to the left of the punctuation mark. We would hold shift, and then that would highlight all the text in the area that we would want to link to. We would come up here to the link button, and then we would just hit insert link. And then you could either right click, hit paste, which would bring up the URL that we copied, or if you wanted to do it even easier, you would highlight it, or hit the insert link, and then hit just Command V, which on Windows would be the CMD on your keyboard. So on Apple it would be the actual one, Command, but CMD on Windows. And then you could just paste it in, and then if you hit this button to submit or enter, either work, and then you have the link there. Don't forget you have to hit save. So then we would save, That's going to bring, we'll click the bring up the page just to check that it worked. And you can see here that that is now linked there. Oh. And we can go there. Now if we go back to the page, we'll remove this link just in case you don't want it there. Let's save. And we'll show you how to do an internal link. So that was an external link to a source that's outside of your actual domain. Now let's say we added a new section here, and we'll call this, we'll put a heading in by hitting the /, typing H for heading. That'll bring up heading. Then we'll click that, and we'll just say related work. Now the last thing that we have is an H3. This is H2, so that works. Formatting wise, we'll hit enter, and then we'll hit the /, and then let's say we just want to put a bullet point list of related work, and we'll say example 1. And then example 1 is something on the website like a page. So we'll highlight that. Let's say we want to link to it as a related work on the website. We'll click link, and then we'll just start typing the page we want to link to. So let's say success stories was that page, which we'll type there. As you can see, as soon as we type success stories, which is the page on the website, it brings up that. Then we can just click this, and then it'll link to success stories. So if we go ahead and update this by clicking save, we'll click this new tab button right here, which will allow us to view the live updates of the page. You can see the related work is down here. We're going to go ahead and click this, and then that's going to bring us to success stories. So we'll go ahead and undo that now, but that's how you would add an internal link to the page. So just go ahead and delete that. Now each page has a different post that you actually have to click to edit. So anytime that you're looking for one of the main pages on your website, that being the practice area, success stories, about, contact, privacy, terms of use, those types of pages, what you could either do is navigate them when you're looking at the site and logged in. So if we go to success stories, and then up here we go to edit page, which is in the top bar, we can edit the page that way. And again, here's another one of those things that I'm currently updating. So you can see it just says successful cases handled by Russell Benson. So we'll go ahead and remove this. I just copied it, and we'll go to here, and we'll just hit Command V. It's just going to put a updated format. So we'll click save. Now if that does happen with anything, you could just let me know, and I'll be able to fix that really quick. So again, if you want to edit this individual page when looking at it, you just hit edit page up here. Now you could also, by returning to your WordPress dashboard, if you're coming from this area and you're actually in the page section, you could just scroll down here until we see success stories, and you highlight over it with your cursor, and you click edit right here. That'll bring you up to the same page. So there's actually two ways to get there, and that's about it. Now, if you wanted to, let's say, add an image for each one of these cases, let's say you had an image of you in court, all you would do is hit the / and or click the plus icon located in the top left or the bottom right area, and then you would type IM for image. That's going to bring up the image. You could either put in a gallery, you can compare two images, or just put in a regular image. So for this example, we're just going to do a regular image. Now once this image box comes up, what you can actually do is if you have like a Finder window with the image open, like let's just say you had some files and you wanted to drag one in. So if we were, wanted to put in the shooting string colors, you could just highlight over the area with the file, drop it in, and it's going to actually upload it. And so that's how you upload a new image. I'll go ahead and delete the photo of this because obviously we don't want that there. Now we'll just hit enter. Oops. Yep, enter right here. So that created the space. Hit /, go back to making the image. Now if you wanted to actually insert it from anything that's already updated to the website, you would just hit select file, media library. That's going to bring up all the images that are uploaded to the website. As you can see, most of these are just generic images that we initially use when creating the template of the website. However, you could also use the stock photos over here and search. So if we wanted law, it's going to pull up accident and property damage lawyer. But it looks like if you just hit lawyer without hitting enter, you could pick from a few options, and there's different generic images that you can use. These are all copyright free, and it's an integration with your hosting provider that you use. So that's one option. The other one is to use anything that's in the library, or you can upload a new image, which you just go to the upload file, drag and drop in, and or hit select the files. That's going to bring up all the files on your computer. So if we go back to the WordPress post editor, that's actually how you would add an image to the post. So far we talked about posts versus pages, which would be your blog section versus the actual pages on your website. We talked about how to edit a post or a page with the WordPress post editor. Within that, we talked about how to add an internal link, how to add an external link, and how to add images and headings and new paragraphs. Now, once you get familiar with actually how to do all that, there's other things that you could do. So if you do hit the plus icon and you hit browse all, you could scroll through here, and there's a ton of stuff that you can experiment with. And if you ever wanted to try anything that you saw in here, like you want to add a new button or a slideshow or some columns, so you could compare maybe two sections or two different views on a case or something, then you could just add it. You hit save, you click the view page button, and then that would show you what it actually looks like. If you don't like it, you would come back to the page, highlight anything that you didn't like, just hit the delete button, re-click save, and then that'll take everything away. So I think that's about everything that you were interested in. The other thing just to mention, we also talked about the theme if you wanted to edit that. So the theme is primarily going to be the footer, the call to action at the end of the page, or the header. And so if you wanted to, edit any of that stuff, you would go to customize. And then that's going to bring up the settings for that. Now everything in the footer or what they call it, this is an after entry widget, are going to be in here. That's going to show you all the different areas that you could edit on whatever page that you're looking at. And so as you can see, there's a lot of different widgets on the front page, and that's because we're using all these different, actually we're not. So you have the ability to add all these widgets on the front page, is what I should say. They're all empty because we're not actually utilizing these. But if you go to practice areas, what you'll notice is that all those go away, and then you only have the above the footer and the footer widget. So if you went to that, you could click on these HTMLs, and you could see that this is the Let's Work Together part of that, and then this is the button. So you can see the URL is between the two quotation marks. And then here's the anchor text, which is the text that shows on the button, free consultation. You could just minimize it, go back. If you want to do the footer, they're a little bit easier because they're templatized. So this is just a text block with a heading and a paragraph. Again, the link that's showing about Benson Law, the way that we're able to put that in is if I just copy this real quick, remove this link. Oops. You can see we could either just highlight it. I have the link copied right now. We'll just hit Command V. Oh. Yeah, there you go, Command V, and it will paste that link. Or you could just hit the button there and then put it in. You would hit apply. And if you wanted to actually make the change to the footer, you would just hit publish. And so then that pushes everything live. You would hit back, exit out of this, and then the link would be live. So I think that's about everything. So I'm going to wrap up this screen recording here. But if you do have any questions or would want further explanation on anything else, please let me know, and I'll definitely be happy to make that documentation for you, and we could also review it in a meeting. Thanks again for your time, and have a great day.